Glenda for being part of my interview. And I'm gonna introduce Glenda. Hello everybody, this is Glenda. She's been teaching music for 60 years and she's quite active in life, has a good relationship with the family and other wider communities. She's pretty capable of doing housework, a happy lady. Today she's going to be sharing her secrets of happiness. Welcome, Glenda.
Thank you.
Okay, my first question is, what are your top 3 secrets for happiness?
Well, I think it might be in your nature to be happy and to enjoy what you're doing. Yeah, so I enjoy my job as a teacher, and to keep busy, as you said. Yes, and the way I was brought up, to keep the house clean. My mother was very fussy, so I don't say that I was always happy doing my mother's housework, but you learn to love to be clean through your mother, I think.
So being clean is sort of a routine or way
Yes.
to bring yourself back when you get anxious or worried.
Yes, I
Keeping
do.
yourself
I do
busy.
get worried. I do feel sad at times. When my husband had to live in a rest home, I was very sad and felt very guilty. But he settled in well, and then I felt very sad when he died, and so. But I was happy that he was out of pain.
That's good.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about how did you deal with that, your husband passing away?
I remembered we had lots of memories. We were married. We would have, if he was still alive, he's been dead for a year. If he was still alive, we would be, at the end of this year, November, we would have been married 61 years.
Wow.
So there's lots of memories. We didn't always get on well. We argued. You don't live with me and not argue, because I like things. He was a very gentle man. Yes, so we did have our moments. We weren't always happy together, but we also had lots of happy times. Lots of happy times.
Right, so the memories help.
The memories help.
And even though you did have some arguments,
Yes, that's quite normal, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's normal,
Well,
everybody.
You don't know that. You do have arguments.
Yeah, right.
Yes, you do have arguments, and but you learn to remember the good times, and you get over the arguments. They're not really important.
Remember the good times, everybody. Just get over with the arguments.
Yes.
Small things.
Yes.
Things do happen. And what about other secrets for happiness?
Other secrets.
Yes, please.
Well, in this room, I have all the things that I love. Books and music. And that's one thing Ken and I had in common. We loved music, and he was a singer. He had a beautiful tenor voice,
Wow.
like Pavarotti, and we loved to listen to music and watch DVDs about music. Yes, so they were we got on very well with. Because we like the same things. Yes.
So common interest was your
Common interest, yes.
Right.
And he was very handsome.
Oh, handsome boys.
Yes.
Okay. What about teaching music for a long period of time? Does that help you with your overall happiness?
Yes, I love teaching children, especially when they practice. They've got to practice. And there's ways of letting them know when you're not pleased. They know that I don't shout and yell, but they do know when I'm not pleased because they haven't practiced. So, but I think the children come in here, and this is a very interesting room.
It is.
And it's all about me, the books that I love to read and the music. And, when they come in for the first pupil, I'm usually sitting at the table reading and I have music going. And so I always ask them, well, the first pupil of the day, ask who wrote this music. But of course they don't really know. So I can tell them, well, this was Chopin or Mozart. And I think that they, it means a lot that I have loved to read, and I have all my books here. So the children know that that when I talk about music, that I know what I'm talking about, and I talk about reading, how important it is to enjoy other people's writing. Yes.
So keeping your habit, sticking to your habit,
Yes.
doing things you love,
Yes.
and teaching people about the
Yes.
things you love.
Yes.
Reading, how important it is if you read, and the music, teach the
Yes.
music. You
And
love reading,
I love
you love music.
Yes, and they know that, and I love hobbies, like knitting and embroidery and all these things. I go to a craft morning on a Tuesday, and I enjoy being with other people who are very clever, a lot more clever than I am. And but it is wonderful to see what other people are doing and try and copy them. Yes, and use and do the same hobbies. Creative things. Yes.
And also social interaction with other people helps too, right?
Yes.
Making new friends, learning new skills from people. Don't be afraid to reach out like, hey, how do you do your knitting?
Yes.
Can I learn?
Yes. We have a lady who does patchwork and embroidery, and she does the most beautiful work. And she tells us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, so we learn a lot from her. And there are other people that are tutor, the other people who come along to learn.
Wow.
Yes. So that's all. Being creative is
being creative.
Yes. Yes. It makes you feel good when you make something. Yes.
Using your hand, right?
Yes.
So your mind is in there.
Yes.
Create something.
Yes. And we talk, and there's always, down at craft morning, there's always somebody comes along and does the thought for the day. And sometimes it's me. And and I'm a bit different to a lot of the other people. That's very interesting.
And forever, just keep learning new things, learning knitting.
Yes, well, I was knitting from the age of 5. My mother said she never really had to teach me. I just watched and copied my mother.
Wow.
You know, she was a good knitter,
Uh-huh.
but yes, she didn't do sewing. She was a sort of, she made me a dress once. Yes.
I guess you were sorry.
Yes, and I wore it to school, and I fell over a wall and put a tear in the dress. My mother was not pleased about that. Yes, poor mum.
And I guess you had a pretty happy, fulfilling childhood, right? You did music. You had
Yes, I
knitting.
didn't start to learn music until I was 13, almost 13, and so I was quite a late beginner. But I was doing 2 exams some years, 2 exams in a year, so that I sort of caught up. Yes.
Working hard, guys.
Yes, practicing every day, twice a day.
Practice every day.
Yes, yes.
Consistency.
Yes.
Getting yourself focused and just sit there.
Yes.
And
I
6
wanted,
o'clock, you do it. You do it
Yes.
every day.
Yes, but the thing is that I wanted to do it and I wanted to be good at it. So,
There's the passion in it.
yes, passion. That's a very good word. Yes.
Passion.
Yes.
Right.
And that's how I met my husband, you see.
Oh, see, through passion, you can meet your...
No, I won't use the word passion, though he was very handsome. I met him because he was invited to sing. He had a beautiful voice, and he was invited to sing at a party. And you see, singers and instrumental players, they all need pianists. So the lady who was putting on the party, she said, I know a pianist. And so I went along to play for him, and he walked me home afterwards.
Wow!
And that's the beginning of the story. Yes.
Guys, did you see that?
Yes.
Her passion, she worked hard, so by chance she got invited to the concert?
To a party.
To a party!
Birthday
and then
party.
met her husband.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Oh, coming back to the not yelling or shouting at students, what do you do so they know you're angry or upset?
I speak very quietly. I look them right in the eyes, and they know that I'm not really happy. Yes. I just speak quietly. I know that some teachers get quite angry, and but I think nowadays you are not allowed to smack children, so we wouldn't do that. But there's no need to get verbally very angry and show your anger. You just speak quietly and tell them this is the way it's going to be, and this is the way. If you want to play music, then you have to play with soul.
With your soul.
Yes.
Right.
You have to feel the music.
Yes.
Yes.
Feel the music, be in the moment.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about how do you control not to get angry, not yelling? How do you get your emotions in control?
Well, I know that it's not going to achieve what I want to achieve by me shouting. I don't tolerate any rudeness to me, and I don't have any pupils at the moment. I think in all the years I've been teaching, I've only had 2 or 3 pupils who have been verbally rude to me. And I just spoke quietly and let them know that that was not acceptable behaviour. And they knew that I was not pleased. Yes, and yes. But most children, because they're here in my room, they would not be rude to me, you know, in my room.
Yeah, you take control.
I'm in control. Yes. So I think that, and they know that I care about them. That's probably the important thing, that you know, that I show that I care about my pupils.
To show people that you care about them, so
Yes,
they will listen
I care
to
about
you.
them as I want them to do well. Yes.
And they can feel it.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's great. Oh, thank you, Glenda. Next question. So, how do you maintain the same level of happiness during COVID with all the uncertainties?
I think that I have been, I've been at home with my dog. I do have a daughter next door who keeps an eye on me. And, you know, I haven't, for a long while, when we had the lockdown, I didn't go out anywhere. I was always here. But I never get bored.
Wow!
Well, look at the books that I've got. And I haven't read them all yet, but I've got plenty to do. Yeah. And so I never got bored, and my daughter did my shopping for me and left the shopping at the front door because I wasn't in her bubble. Johnny the dog and I were in our own little bubble. And of course my husband, I couldn't see him for a long while because he was in a rest home. So we weren't allowed to visit. And my granddaughter, whom I raised, well, my husband and I don't think he raised, because he was, the girls called him Mr. Marshmallow. He was very nice and kind, you know. So, and they loved him and he loved them. So, but I could ring him up, and I couldn't go and see him. And my daughter that lives up north, she was way out of Whangarei, so she couldn't come down. She wasn't allowed to come down. And my granddaughter lives in Takapuna, and she would ring me up, yes. But they weren't allowed to visit, you see. It was a very, very strange time.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, it was so
It wasn't
strange.
normal.
No, it wasn't, with so many uncertainties. So I got two things out of this little conversation. So keeping in touch with your families, your granddaughter, your daughters, just arrange them, and also keeping yourself busy with all the amazing books.
Yes.
Wow.
And music.
Yeah. So don't leave any room for your mind to wander around.
Yes.
Just focus on one thing.
Yes.
And then have
And
so
gardening.
many things to
Yes.
do.
You can
Gardening.
go outside and you know, I used to go out and make the dog run around our big backyard, and he loved that. And then you know, go and pull some weeds out, and you know, that's very satisfying. Nature.
Yeah, nature helps too when you pull the weed out. It's satisfying. It's like cleaning.
Yes, it is.
So satisfying. Doing something for yourself, you feel good afterwards.
Yes.
Great. Last question. What does a typical day in your life look like?
Well, I woke up this morning. It must have been about 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard my son-in-law next door go off with his V8 engine, vroom, vroom, down the road. One day there'll be a policeman waiting down there for him. And so then the minute I pull the blankets back, the dog is out of his bed and he comes around and says good morning.
Aww.
And then we get up and then I have breakfast and I let the dog out to attend to nature, and then he lets me know when he wants to come back in and he's ready to eat breakfast, and then I usually clean or do whatever I'm going to do, and then later in the afternoon I start teaching. On a Friday I have to pick my great-granddaughter up from school and bring her here, and but she doesn't learn piano from me anymore. Yes, she never practiced, and I got very bored. You know, you can't teach somebody who doesn't practice. So I would teach, and then when I finished teaching I would go and feed the dog and prepare my dinner. Then I would watch TV for the evening. Yes.
Sounds great. So I was wondering, is it mostly every day like this?
Mostly every day is the same. Yes, except I have the pupils that come here. Did I say that I teach? Yes. So the pupils that come here, they're always different every day. They're not the same pupils every day. So, you know, everybody is different and they learn different pieces. And now we're starting to prepare for a concert at the end of the year.
Wow!
Yes, so...
All your students?
Yes, but I don't have quite so many this year. And so I will have to fill up, you know, make the concert last a bit longer by introducing my granddaughter might come and sing. She has a beautiful operatic voice, and I always talk, and we might have some poetry or some other things. Yes, just to make the concert interesting. Yes, and that will be in the local church in Northcote, and not in here.
Concert here.
It'd be too small. Yes.
Thank you, Glinda. Before we finish, do you have one last tip or secret for people to be happy? The message you want to bring to people.
Yeah, I think that you share experiences, and I share lots of stories. I relate my teaching of music to life, and I show my pupils that they are well loved. You know, I love my pupils, and so yes, and I think that you know, I always say you should go outside and smell the roses, or look at the gardens and see the birds, and enjoy nature, you know, and that makes you feel contented. Yes.
So enjoy the nature, be grateful for what you have, the small things.
Yes.
And then what was the last thing? Compassion.
Yes.
To people and sharing, relating. Those things make you happy.
Yes. and you know, my children, the pupils know that I really care and want them to perform well. Because if they perform well, they feel good about themselves. And their parents feel good about themselves. That all that money that they're spending on lessons, they feel is worthwhile. Yes.
So
and they feel proud about
people.
Yes. You can see the pride on their face when their children do. Yes.
And that makes you really happy.
Yes. And, you know, I've had some very funny experiences with pupils. And, yes, and, you know, I think, that, you know, like to have a little laugh sometimes about children can be very funny.
Laughing, yes. Being funny. Just have fun with life, guys.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Glenda, for today.
Well, you are very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
very
so much for the
interesting.
tips.
Yes.
Thank you.